Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All Glorious Srila Prabhupada. Welcome devotees from morning Bhagavatam class. This morning we will be discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 12, verse 21, and the chapter is entitled The Birth of Emperor Parikshit. The class will be given by His Holiness Chandramauli Swami. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you and all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Haribo. My obeisances to all the devotees. Kalpa Tarubhascha, Kripa Sindhu Vepacha, Ganam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha. Hare Krishna Arasuya.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Is my audio clear?
Yes, Maharaj, very, very clear. And on my side, it's definitely very clear. Maharaj, I would like to ask you, it's a pretty long purport. Would you like someone to read it?
Yeah, I was also thinking like that. Somebody who knows how to read, though.
That's fine, Maharaj. Maharaj, would you like to start with the Sanskrit and then I can read for you, Maharaj?
Yeah, okay. And then I'll say, I think there's a preface to the actual text, and I'll just read that also.
Yes, Maharaj. Whenever you want me to stop and start, you can just let me know, Maharaj.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 12, the birth of Emperor Parikshit, verse 21. Danvinam agranir esa tuyas charju nayor dvayaho utasa eva durdarsa samudra eva dustaraha. Amongst great bowmen, this child, which is referring to Maharaj Parikshit, will be as good as Arjuna. He will be irresistible as fire and unsurpassable as the ocean. I'll read the first paragraph. In history, there are two Arjunas. One is Kartavirya Arjuna, the king of Haihaya. The other is the grandfather of the child. Both the Arjunas are famous for their bowmanship, and the child Parikshit is foretold to be equal to both of them, particularly in fighting. A short description of the Pandava Arjuna is given below. Please take it over.
Thank you, Maharaj. Pandava Arjuna, the great hero of the Bhagavad Gita. He is the Kshatriya son of Maharaj Pandu. Queen Kunti Devi could call for any one of the demigods, and thus she called Indra, and Arjuna was born by him. Arjuna is therefore a plenary part of the heavenly king Indra. He was born in the month of Falguna, February-March, and therefore he is called Falguni. When he appeared as the son of Kunti, his future greatness was proclaimed by air messages, and all the important personalities from different parts of the universe, such as the demigods, the Gandharvas, the Adityas from the sun globe, the Rudras, the Vasus, the Nagas, the different rishis, sages of importance, and the Apsaras, the society girls of heaven, all attended the ceremony. The Apsaras pleased everyone by their heavenly dances and songs. Vasudeva, the father of Lord Krishna, and the maternal uncle of Arjuna, sent his priest representative Kashyapa to purify Arjuna by all the prescribed samskaras or reformatory processes. His samskara of being given a name was performed in the presence of the rishis, residents of Shatashringa. He married 4 wives, Draupadi, Subhadra, Chitrangada, and Ulupi, from whom he got 4 sons of the names Shrutakirti, Abhimanyu, Babrubahana, and Iravan, respectively. During his student life, he was entrusted to study under the great professor Dronacharya, along with other Pandavas and the Kurus. But he excelled everyone by his studious intensity, and Dronacharya was especially attracted by his disciplinary affection. Dronacharya accepted him as a first grade scholar and loved heartily to bestow upon him all the blessings of military science. He was so ardent a student that he used to practice bowmanship even at night. And for all these reasons, Professor Dronacharya was determined to make him the topmost bowman of the world. He passed very brilliantly the examination in piercing the target, and Dronacharya was very pleased. Royal families at Manipur and Tripura are descendants of Arjuna's son, Babruvahana. Arjuna saved Dronacharya from the attack of a crocodile, and the Acharya, being pleased with him, rewarded him with a weapon of the name Brahmashiras. Maharaj Drupad was inimical toward Dronacharya, and thus when he attacked the Acharya, Arjuna got him arrested and brought him before Dronacharya. He besieged a city of the name Ahitchatra, belonging to Maharaj Drupad, and after taking it over, he gave it to Dronacharya. The confidential treatment of the weapon Brahmashiras was explained to Arjuna, and Dronacharya was promised by Arjuna that he would use the weapon if necessary when he, Dronacharya, personally became an enemy of Arjuna. By this, the Acharya forecasted the future battle of Kurukshetra, in which Dronacharya was on the opposite side. Maharaj Drupad, although defeated by Arjuna, on behalf of his professor, Dronacharya, decided to hand over his daughter Draupadi to his young combatant, but he was disappointed when he heard the false news of Arjuna's death in the fire of Shalak house, intrigued by Duryodhana. He therefore arranged for Draupadi's personal selection of a groom who could pierce the eyes of a fish hanging on the ceiling. This trick was especially made because only Arjuna could do it, and he was successful in his desire to hand over his equally worthy daughter to Arjuna. Arjuna's brothers were at that time living incognito under agreement with Duryodhana, and Arjuna and his brothers attended the meeting of Draupadi's selection in the dress of Brahmanas. When all the Kshatriyas kings assembled saw that a poor Brahmana had been garlanded by Draupadi for her lord, Sri Krishna disclosed his identity to Balaram. He met Ulupi at Haridwar, and he was attracted by that girl belonging to Nagalok, and thus Iravan was born. Similarly, he met Chitrangada, a daughter of the king of Manipur, and thus Babruvahan was born. Lord Sri Krishna made a plan to help Arjuna to kidnap Subhadra, a sister of Sri Krishna, because Baladev was inclined to hand her over to Duryodhana. Yudhishthir also agreed with Sri Krishna, and thus Subhadra was taken by force by Arjuna and then married to him. Subhadra's son is Abhimanyu, the father of Parikshit Maharaj, the posthumous child. Arjuna satisfied the fire god by setting fire to the Kandava forest, and thus the fire god gave him one weapon. Indra was angry when the fire was set in the Kandava forest, and thus Indra, assisted by all other demigods, began fighting with Arjuna for his great challenge. They were defeated by Arjuna, and Indradev returned to his heavenly kingdom. Arjuna also promised all protection to one Mayasura, and the latter presented him one valuable conch shell, celebrated as the Devadatta. Similarly, he received many other valuable weapons from Indradev when he was satisfied to see his chivalry. When Maharaj Yudhishthira was disappointed in defeating the king of Magad, Jarasandh, it was Arjuna only who gave King Yudhishthira all kinds of assurances, and thus Arjuna, Bhim, and Lord Krishna started for Magad to kill Jarasandh. When he went out to bring all other kings of the world under the subjection of the Pandavas, as was usual after the coronation of every emperor, he conquered the country named Kilinda and brought in subjugation King Bhagadatta. Then he traveled through countries like Antagiri, Ulukapura, and Modapura, and brought under subjugation all the rulers. Sometimes he underwent severe type of penances, and later on he was rewarded by Indradev. Lord Shiva also wanted to try the strength of Arjuna, and in the form of an aborigine, Lord Shiva met him. There was a great fight between the two, and at last Lord Shiva was satisfied with him and disclosed his identity. Arjuna prayed to the Lord in all humbleness, and the Lord, being pleased with him, presented him the Pashupata weapon. He acquired many other important weapons from different demigods. He received Dandastra from Yamaraj, Pashastra from Varuna, and Andradhanastra from Kuber, the treasurer of the heavenly kingdom. Indra wanted him to come to the heavenly kingdom, the Indraloka, planet beyond the moon planet. In that planet, he was cordially received by the local residents, and he was awarded reception in the heavenly parliament of Indradev. Then he met Indradev, who not only presented him with his Vajra weapon, but also taught him the military and musical science as used in the heavenly planet. In one sense, Indra is the real father of Arjuna, and therefore, indirectly, he wanted to entertain Arjuna with a famous society girl of heaven, Urvashi, the celebrated beauty. The society girls of heaven are lusty, and Urvashi was very eager to contact Arjuna, the strongest human being. She met him in his room and expressed her desires, but Arjuna sustained his unimpeachable character by closing his eyes before Urvashi, addressing her as the mother of the Kuru dynasty and placing her in the category of his mothers Kunti, Madri, and Sachi Devi, wife of Indradev. Disappointed, Urvashi cursed Arjuna and left. In the heavenly planet, he also met the great celebrated ascetic Lomasha and prayed to him for the protection of Maharaj Yudhisthira. When his inimical cousin Duryodhan was under the clutches of the Gandharvas, he wanted to save him and requested the Gandharvas to release Duryodhan. But the Gandharvas refused, and thus he fought with him and got Duryodhan released. When all the Pandavas lived incognito, he presented himself in the court of King Virat as a eunuch and was employed as the musical teacher of Uttara, his future daughter-in-law, and was known in the Virat court as the Brihanala. As Brihanala, he fought on behalf of Uttara, the son of King Virat, and thus defeated the Kurus in the fight incognito. His secret weapons were finally kept in the custody of Somi tree, and he ordered Uttara to get them back. His identity and his brother's identity were later on disclosed to Uttara. Dronacharya was informed of Arjuna's presence in the fight of the Kurus and the Viratas. Later on, the Battle of Kurukshetra, Arjuna killed many great generals like Karna and others. After the Battle of Kurukshetra, he punished Ashwatthama, who had killed all the 5 sons of Draupadi. Then all the brothers went to Bhishma Dev. It is due to Arjuna only that the great philosophical discourses of the Bhagavad Gita were again spoken by the Lord on the battle of Kurukshetra. His wonderful acts on the battlefield of Kurukshetra are vividly described in the Mahabharata. Arjuna was defeated, however, by his son Brahuvahana at Manipur and fell unconscious when Ulupi saved him. After the disappearance of Lord Krishna, the message was brought by Arjuna to Maharaj Yudhisthira. Again, Arjuna visited Dwarka, and all the widow wives of Lord Krishna lamented before him. He took them all in the presence of Vasudeva and pacified all of them. Later on, when Vasudeva passed away, he performed his funeral ceremony in the absence of Krishna. while Arjuna was taking all the wives of Krishna to Indraprasth. He was attacked on the way, and he could not protect the ladies in his custody. At last, advised by Vyasadeva, all the brothers headed for Mahaprasthana. On the way, at the request of his brother, he gave up all important weapons as useless, and he dropped them all in the water. Hare Krishna.
Namaste, Saraswati Devi, Gauravani, Puttarani, Nirvana, Panchakopa, Krishna, Sindhu, Deva, Sankita, and Hamadevi, Vaishnava, Yonda, Mahavima, Vaishu Krishna, Chaitanya, Pavini, Pavunda, Yeshua, Yoga, Gavatar, Shiva, and the world of the women. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Thank you, Anicia. Yeah, this narration here is just a small part. Prabhupada preference is a short description of life of Arjuna. He was known for many other great and amazing feats. But what makes him so glorious is his intimate connection with Krishna. He was so close to Krishna that when Krishna actually took the position of his chariot here in the battle to Krishna, and Krishna had decided not to fight, he made a proposal between Arjuna and Duryodhana, and he said, one of you can have my armies and one of you can have me, but I am not going to fight whoever takes me. Duryodhana, thinking in a very material way, was thinking, well, what's the use of having you if you're not going to fight us to take your army? And he did. And then Arjuna, Krishna said, then yes. And Krishna said, yeah, I'm not going to fight them. But then Arjuna said, well, if you're not going to fight, at least you would be my charioteer. In order to please his devotee, Krishna accepted that request. And the most amazing thing about this request is that when Arjuna was in struggle, being smashed with the arrows of Bhishma, invincible, powerful Bhishma. Arjuna was no match for Bhishma. Although we hear the glories of Arjuna's prowess and how he defeated so many great generals and performed so many Herculean acts, still he was no match for Bhishma. And Bhishma was determined because he was insulted by Brahmacharya that he wasn't fighting to his capacity, so he had promised that he would when he was fighting his capacity, Arjuna had no chance. And Krishna did something, he broke his promise. He jumped off the broken chariot, which was smashed by the arrows of Bhishma. And Arjuna was already had fallen off. Krishna also fell off. They both fell off. And then Krishna picked up the chariot wheel and then started to charge Bhishma. And this Krishna showed when he proved that verse in the Bhagavad Gita that he was every
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I'm sorry for interrupting Maharaj. Your voice is a little bit scratchy. Can you increase the volume on your end, Maharaj, please? I'm sorry, forgive me, Maharaj.
How about that? Is that better?
Let me see if because I'm getting, yes, I think it's better now, devotees. I've been getting a couple of messages from devotees. I'm just waiting for them to let me know if it's, but yes, Maharaj, I think they're saying it's better.
Okay, let's try it. when Bhishma Dev was fighting to destroy Arjuna, Krishna then decided that he would fulfill his promise to his devotees, which supersedes Krishna risks his own reputation because he had decided, I won't fight. He gave his word. But here was an incident where he could not, not fight because Arjuna would have been destroyed, no question about it, by Bhishma. In order to protect his devotees, the Lord told his promise. After being knocked off the chariot by Bhishma, the Lord picked up the yoke of the chariot and charged Bhishma. And that story, we already discussed that in the 9th chapter of this first canto. But what was interesting was that Krishna is criticized for saying things and not following it. But when he breaks his promise, it's always for a higher principle. In this case, the higher principle always is protection of his devotees. So, as devotees of Krishna, we should also understand that when you become a devotee of the Lord promises to give you protection. He gives you two aspects of protection. One, he protects you from physical harm, and two, he protects you from falling down into the material energy. In other words, if you're seriously executing devotional service, even if you slip, the Lord will arrange for you to get back up again and protects you from falling down and staying within the material energy. That protection is what is being referred to in general, but he also gives protection to the body, but not always, because sometimes there's a higher principle involved with that he wants that the devotee to come back to him and go back to God. So he allows that devotee to leave his body under certain circumstances. That doesn't mean he's not giving protection, he's protecting his soul in that case. But we see here how the Lord also protects his devotees from the dangers that they involve. As far as Arjuna is concerned, he was very dear to Krishna. He had an intimate friendship relationship. He sits with Krishna at the dinner table. They share food together. He talks to Krishna very intimately and openly. They also lie on the same bed together. They're very closely related. So we can't imagine the great qualities that Arjuna has acquired in order to attract the Supreme Personality of Godhead completely in loving devotion and stillness. So here we're hearing about some of his interesting exploits. When the Pandavas had to remain in exile for 13 years, after 12 years of remaining in exile, the last year, the 13th year, they had to remain in exile in incognito. And because if they were discovered while they were incognito, then there would be another 13 years of exile. So they went to the kingdom of Virat. And Arjuna became a dance teacher for the daughter of Virat. Arjuna became a cook. I can't remember what the other things were. They all had their own disguises. And they remained, the book is here, there was this marriage of Draupadi, and the Pandavas all showed up in the marriage that they disguised themselves as Brahmins. Arjuna won the hand of Draupadi, and then at the wing of all of these powerful chakras, and they were defeated by the Brahmins. And no one knew it was actually Arjuna. And he managed to, incognito during that particular event. So, and then Virat, after 1 year, he wanted to give his daughter, Uttara, to Arjuna for marriage because he was pleased with Arjuna. But Arjuna said, how can I do that? She was my daughter. You cannot marry a daughter. So it's understood that the relationship between the spiritual master or a teacher is like a son to a daughter, a father to a daughter, a father to a son. So it was considered to be against the religious principle to marry one's disciple or to marry one's student, because it's in the role of the father. Therefore, in order to satisfy Virat, King Virat, he said, I have a son, and you can give your daughter to my son. And he did. Uttara became the wife of Abhimanyu. But then Abhimanyu was killed unfairly on the battlefield by the assembly of very powerful generals who surrounded him and didn't allow him to break out when they were all attacking him. And he was unfairly killed. And that left Uttara as a widow. She was pregnant at the time, and later on that child was born, and that child was Maharaj Parikshit. So we'll know the Maharaj Parikshit was actually the grandson of Arjuna. And Maharaj Parikshit also, we're hearing about his glories in this particular section of the Srimad Bhagavatam. But it was interesting to note that when Arjuna heard what happened to his son-in-law, his son Abhimanyu, he decided to take revenge against Drishtadyumna. I think it was not Drishtadyumna. Remember that powerful warrior over starts with a D.
March, is this Ashwatthama?
No, it was Jayadratha.
Oh, Jayadratha. Yes. The king of Sindhu. Right.
Yeah, that is right. And so, and Arjuna made a vow, because during the battle, when the sun goes down, the battle stops. So at that time, the soldiers desist fighting, and they sit together in the evening, many of the leaders, and then they begin their fighting the next day. So no one fights beyond sunset. So Arjuna made a vow that I will kill Jayadratha tomorrow in the battle, and if I fail, I will enter into the fire. In other words, I will give up my life. So when the Kurus heard that this was going to happen, they were thinking, we have to protect Jayadratha by all means, because if Arjuna enters into the fire, then we will easily win the battle, because of him we cannot win. And so Krishna was driving the chariot and the battle was going on. And so the Kurus were sending many phalanxes of soldiers to fight with Arjuna. And they were keeping Jayadratha in a very far section of the battlefield. And you have to understand that battlefield was huge. It says that it was about 18 miles long. It was a huge battlefield. You can imagine 640 million soldiers were killed and many hundreds of thousands were missing. But there were many more soldiers on that battlefield. And so protecting Jayadratha on the other end, they were sending phalanxes of soldiers to fight with Arjuna, and Arjuna was fighting like he never fought before. He was cutting through all of these soldiers. But Krishna told him, don't waste time until these soldiers get to Jayadratha. So Arjuna did that, and he went through all of these phalanxes, trying to get Jayadratha. But the Kurus had sent their best men to protect Jayadratha, knowing that if Arjuna didn't kill him that day, Arjuna would have to enter the fire. And so the fighting went on, and the time was going on, and then the sun was starting to go down, and it was going down and going down and going down. But Krishna did something. Here's how he saved his devotee again. He presented a cloud in the sky. By his power, he created a cloud in the sky which looked like that the sun had already set. So, and then the sun didn't really set. It was hiding behind this cloud, which everyone thought that the sun had set. And so when the sun apparently set, everyone thought, oh, wow, the sun is set. Arjuna has to enter into the fire. And they all upraised their sword and they started to cheer. Arjuna will now enter into the fire. But what Krishna had done is that he hid the sun, and the sun was still above the horizon. And then Krishna told him, okay, now go for him. So Arjuna went and killed Jayadratha. And when the Kurus saw that, they said, Arjuna's cheating. The sun is already set. He's broken his promise. But then Krishna took the cloud away, and everyone could see the sun was still just above the horizon. So Krishna did that in order to protect his devotees. And you see, here's another example how Krishna saved Arjuna from giving up his life. So this is one of many. So what is glorious is here is the intimate relationship. And you go down to the end of the narration, you find that Arjuna apparently was defeated by his own son, Badruvanhana, who was a very, very powerful warrior. He was his father. He was the son of Ulupi. He was very, very powerful. I think he was the son of the Ulupi or Iravan.
That's Titangana.
Yeah, he was the son of Ulupi. And apparently Arjuna was defeated. You can read about that pastime. There's one particular narration that I came across, reading about that fight. How when Arjuna wanted to, on behalf of King Yudhisthira, establish Yudhisthira as the undefeatable, unchallenged monarch, become the king of the world, they had to prove that by sending the challenge force. The program was that you send a challenge force out to the different kingdoms, and anyone who captures the horse will have to fight with the soldiers who accompany the horse. And everyone let the horse go, except in that kingdom of Bahu. He captured the horse, and then Arjuna challenged his own son to a fight, and Arjuna lost the fight. It doesn't explain how he lost the fight. He was just somehow or other defeated by his son. And it's amazing. This was at Manipur, and Ulupi saved him, his wife, and brought him back to consciousness. But then later on, and this is also very significant in terms of our understanding how spiritual principles play themselves out. Arjuna apparently was trying to protect Krishna's wives who were going to Indraprastha, but there was a band of cowherdmen who attacked Arjuna, and they defeated Arjuna, and he couldn't protect the ladies in his custody. Later on, he talks about them to Yudhisthira, how he failed about it. I have my mighty arms, I still have my Dandiva bow, I have my quiver with arrows, but because Lord Shri Krishna has disappeared from the planet and was not able to protect the wise. So here is an interesting point, is that, and we should all take note of this, that when Krishna empowers one, one can do wonderful things on his behalf. If Krishna withdraws that power, you can't do anything. Can't even lift your finger if he decides not to allow you to do that. This is the principle of devotion, that a devotee always knows that behind everything is the prowess, the power, the mercy, the glory, and the protection of Krishna. So a devotee always knows that they always depend on Krishna. One realizes that anything one can do is simply by the grace of the Lord coming through the disciplic succession. And here Arjuna is showing this by his own example. Krishna used him. It's actually Krishna's arrangement just to show the world that, yeah, the glory of Arjuna is actually coming from me. Although Arjuna is glorious because he was selected to be that power to bring about religious principles by defeating irreligion. Still, behind it, it's the will of Krishna. So we should understand this in our present day situation. Lord Chaitanya has said that his name will be chanted in every town and village throughout the world. And therefore that will happen. And there'll be no question about that. It's not a matter of conjecture or not a matter of theory. It's just a matter of time when the Lord's name will be chanted throughout the entire world. And Krishna consciousness will spread everywhere. But the question remains, are we willing to become the instrument of the Lord in his desire to purify the world? That is our position. Some of us will take it up, others will not. But the more who take it up, they also get the glory, because just as Arjuna gets all the credit for everything that Krishna did, ultimately the devotees will become glorious as Lord Chaitanya uses his devotees to spread Krishna consciousness all around the world. So it's just a matter of time. And Prabhupada said, if this generation doesn't do it, the next generation will do it. And if they don't do it, the next generation. So whoever is willing to sacrifice whatever they think is good for them, and simply take up the mission of the Lord and preach Krishna consciousness whenever it's possible, then will be guaranteed to go back home, back to Godhead, and will be seen as a true follower of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, so we'll stop here. The glories of Arjuna is unlimited as the ocean. The glories of the pure devotees are just as vast as that same ocean.
Thank you so much, Marge, for this wonderful class on Arjuna. And actually, as I was reading the purport for you, I was really amazed by how detailed Srila Prabhupada went into Arjuna. And I was thinking, wow, it'd be so nice if we could have that same thing for all the other great personalities. It's so informative. I felt it was very informative. Thank you, Maharaj. Would like to ask devotees if you have any questions, any comments, any clarification. Please do raise your hand. We have about 24 participants today. A really nice group, and I will call upon you that way I don't miss anyone. Just going down. Okay, go ahead. Parikshit has a question.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please accept my holy obeisance.
Let's go to the gallery and then I'll stop the sharing.
Yes, Maharaj, I'll do it right now.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances, or glory to the Prabhupada. Very nice lecture. Actually, Anastasia and I were talking this morning about the progress of Kali Yuga and the chanting of the holy name. If you don't mind, I'd like you to, I'm going to ask you to comment on the holy name and the effect it's having in Kali Yuga at this point. What we talked about, the two of us discussed, was that she was saying that she knew or she had heard that Kali Yuga's progress of things getting worse has been checked by the holy name. Otherwise, things would be a lot worse now. And that's what I wanted you to comment about, maybe some more details about it.
Yeah, Prabhupada said because of the focus of the devotees in this Kali Yuga, and everything hasn't been destroyed yet. it's the fact. Prabhupada also made a similar comment, not the exact word, but he gave that same indication. Yeah. His age is so bad, everybody's simple. Everybody. Very bad age. What goes on in the material world is material life. It's just various types of sense gratification. The goal of life is to take up the process of self-realization. How many people are actually doing that? We have some pious, and that's very nice. But piety is still within the material energy and still allows one to take another birth. So therefore, one who actually takes up devotional service becomes empowered by the Lord to execute the process of devotional service. So the world is quite simple, very, very simple. In the name of various types of ideas on how to become happy in this world, they've gone more and more into a whirlwind of simple activity. We could sit here all day and just name different kinds of simple activities, but I don't think we don't need to really do that. But we're seeing it more and more. This like line. I was reading last night in the Srimad Bhagavatam that everybody finds some way to twist the truth in order to facilitate their own desires. And sometimes we call it sophistry. Sophistry means half truth and half lie. But that goes on. All advertisement is this is a whole idea of exploitation of people. Advertising is exploiting people to get them to be convinced to buy something they don't really need, really. They create the need and then they offer the product simply through this process of advertising. It's a sense of mind control in different ways. So so the whole society is quite corrupt, quite lost. Only for the devotees, because of the presence of the devotees, Kali Yuga hasn't reached its maximum level of degradation, but it's heading down.
So if the intensity of the chanting of the holy name by the devotees increases, then Kali Yuga will be slowed down even more? I don't know.
And even reverse. The golden age of Lord Chaitanya will come, which is 10,000 years. It's already started. It started with the appearance of Sri Chaitanya. But it's meant to increase in quality until it reaches perfection. So for the next 5,000 years, Lord Chaitanya's movement will continue to increase. Once it reaches 5,000 years, and after some time, it will start to diminish, and for the next 5,000 years, it'll start to gradually decline. That is the 10,000 year period.
Thank you very much, Maharaj.
Yeah, Lord Chaitanya, he marched on the house of John Kasi, the power of Harinam Sankirtan. Of course, he was personally present, but then you might also say that Lord Chaitanya is still personally present.
Thank you, Marge, for sharing that. That was a powerful question, and we got more answers to that question. So thank you for asking that question. Any questions from devotees? Any clarification? Any comment that you would like to add? Please do raise your hand, and I will call upon you. Marge, one question that came to my mind as we were reading the purport is Shri Prabhupada, in a gist, I think, gave a very nice overview of Arjuna's power in the presence of Krishna. To me, it was more of achievements. He achieved this, he achieved that. But at the same time, Maharaj, we also have heard that the Pandavas, they went through so much austerity. They spent, I think, more time in the forest than in the palace. So to what's coming to my mind, Marge, is, they have been sheltered by the Lords, they have been loved and protected by the Lord, going through so much austerity, always being exiled, been sent, being killed and being murdered or whatever. At the same time, there's so much achievement. So, Marge, is it safe to say, or, that one who goes through so much, a devotee who goes through so much austerity in Krishna consciousness also achieves or is able to live a glorious life?
Glorious, that's a nebulous word. You have to really you have to define that in a more specific way. The life of a devotee is already glorious. But you might say glorious in different ways. One, the sacrifice they made. Look at Prabhupada's life. His life is glorious in two aspects. The personal sacrifices he made in order to begin the movement and to carry on the movement, and the achievements that he did during that time. So those two aspects there. So you see also, in great souls, they make personal sacrifice. Look what Arjuna did in order to become a great archer. So he was practicing archery even at night. When he won the complete praise of his teacher, Brahmacharya. So if you want to really, define what is success, comes by austerity. Austerity means giving up what I like for something higher, or giving up what I want for something higher. And one cannot necessarily have to make their own choice in that area. One can consult their spiritual master if they decide to take up some personal austerity and get approval, blessings from the spiritual master. I would say that would be, necessary. Or one can go to the spiritual master and say, I want to do something to spread Krishna consciousness. That's what I'll do. In any case, the blessings of a great soul is important. So yeah, austerity is the wealth of the Brahmin class, as it mentions, because it takes one off the bodily platform. It puts one onto the spiritual platform. But then from the spiritual platform, we can go onto the transcendental platform. That's when one is fully absorbed in devotional service.
Thank you, Maharaj. And as you're speaking, that is true, Maharaj. I was actually reflecting on the life being glorious in the sense of a successful spiritual life, because sometimes I think as devotees, we how can we I'm lost with words. I'm sorry, Marge. Austerity and and successful spiritual life, to one's mind, they will think, but why do I have to go to so much austerity just to worship the Lord, right? And then they think, and like we've heard that in Krishna consciousness, Krishna takes stuff away from us. So how can we really understand, Maharaj, the importance of austerity to have a successful spiritual life? Because that word seems to be like, I'm going to go the reverse direction.
Well, in this age, the recommended austerity, which is also known as yajna, is sankirtanya. Yajna sankirtana praya yajati visamena. That's the austerity we should become absorbed in chanting. 16, we have to understand Prabhupada's instructions when he said 16 rounds. You have to understand that's not the maximum. That's just to get you situated. The idea is to chant always. That was Prabhupada, that is Prabhupada's intention. You need, because Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur clarifies that point in one statement where he says, if you chant every day, you'll come to the point of chanting always. So that means you keep your numerical vow and you keep chanting every day. But if you're actually chanting, you'll actually want to, chant more. When you get to the point of getting free from the offenses of chanting the holy name, and you start moving into the area of namabhas, then you start to taste that glimmer of the holy name as it's compared to a sun ray breaking through the clouds, is enough to inspire a devotee to want to chant more and more. So yeah, we shouldn't relegate ourselves to 16 rounds. We should try to develop a quality in our chanting, and that quality will help us to naturally want to increase and chant more and more.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Another will say, well, I don't have any time. So many other things. Well, that might be true up to a certain point. But if you're tasting the holy name, you'll always find time to chant more. It just becomes
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you. There's
if somebody give you something really tasty to eat, you think, oh, that's nice. Give me some more of it.
There's a nice post here by Dear Krishna where he said that the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Lord Brahma, because of material opulence, a foolish person becomes dull-witted and mad. Thus, he has no respect for anyone. Oops, I think I went too far. Shoot, where Krishna, there it is. Thus, he has no respect for anyone within the three worlds and defies even my authority. To such a person, I show special favor by first taking away all his possessions. Srimad Bhagavatam 8:22-24.
Yeah.
Yes, Maharaj. Any questions? Yes, Maharaj. I'm sorry.
Krishna is also called Hari. Hari means one takes away.
That's pretty powerful. It's a big reminder for us. Any questions from devotees? Any thoughts? Any reflection? If devotees can turn on their videos, as many as possible, please do so that we can, Maharaj can see us and we can see Maharaj. Yes, Namrata Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, am I audible?
Yes, you
Yes.
are.
Okay. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the dearest Guru Maharaj, and all glories to the assembled devotees. Maharaj, my question was, in Bhagavad Gita, if we look at the surface, it seems like Arjun is making a valid point that fighting war will cause a great destruction. So for the personal, for his personal, family affair, he's dragging entire Aryavrat uh, into this great massacre. But uh, he doesn't realize that this was a sense gratification at a subtle level. So even this is in the initial part, of course Krishna made him understand, but then sometimes it also happens that in our life, may it be karmic or may it be bhakti life, we can face such subtle sense gratification. So how do we recognize those subtle sense gratification, Guru Maharaj?
Look for him. Why am I doing this to please Krishna, or am I doing this for my own? You can question yourself. What is the purpose of my activity? What is the motivation behind my activity? What am I doing? Am I trying to develop my love for Krishna? Am I trying to please Krishna? Am I trying to get purified from material desires? Or am I trying to somehow or other fulfill my desires by using devotional service as the means to do that? Just like prasadam, we like certain types of prasadam, so we also go for that. But then again, the principle is one should accept whatever comes by way of natural arrangement. And one lives according to that, then they're detached, and that is devotion service. But if someone says, well, we may not like a certain type of food stuff, but when we say, oh, it's prasadam, then automatically we can understand that it's spiritual in nature. Of course, one may reject food or accept food based on a principle of health, and that is in another category. But generally, one should accept whatever the Lord offers. That comes automatically by providence. That's using that as an example. The spiritual master wants me to do something and I want to do something else. I choose doing what I want to do. That's good. Just like Arjuna is being instructed by Krishna, but Arjuna's he gave 4 very solid reasons why he didn't want to fight. And Prabhupada, in the end of the first chapter, give the nice explanation. It says actually Arjuna was soft-hearted. He said that the nature of a devotee is to be soft-hearted. And therefore, Arjuna was acting soft-hearted. But still, Krishna said, Asocham anvasocham sa pratyavarin navasase gatit sums gatidam sums cha nanu shochanti panditaha. You're speaking like a learned person, and these words are really nice, but I must tell you, you're a fool. Because you are lamenting for that which is not lamentable. So yeah, Therefore, the highest religious principle is to obey the Supreme Lord. And Arjuna, although he had very nice moral and religious principles, they were in contrary to Krishna's will. Therefore, Krishna said he's acting on the Bhagavad Gita. He's acting for his own sanskrit.
Okay, thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Is that clear?
Hare Krishna.
Clear?
Yeah, thank you, Guru Maharaj. Thank you.
When you act on your own, in that sense, gratification, if you act for Krishna, that's devotion service.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. I was just wondering, Guru Maharaj, if it is as a devotee, Arjuna was really at an elevated level, but for devotees who are not at such an elevated level, if they don't recognize them, then how will they approach even a guru for that? So that is why I was just wondering,
Just follow
how
the
do we
regulative-
recognize?
Follow the regulative principles. All the regulative principles keep you within the confines of devotional service. That's why they're there. Regulative principles means to get you off the bodily platform. That's all. Some of them are not even transcendental, but they get you off the bodily platform. Therefore, they're necessary. So learn the regulative principles and follow them. I'm not speaking about the 4 regulative principles. I'm talking about the 64 regulative principles that are mentioned in the Nectar of Devotion, which Krishna speaks about in the Bhagavatam in the 11th canto. He condenses those 64 down into 11. I'm sorry, down to 15. So we have to know the regulative principles, which make up do's and don'ts. Do this, but don't do that.
Okay. So again,
We have to know those regulative principles.
okay. I think again this comes to austerity, Guru Maharaj.
Huh?
Again, this
Yeah.
comes to austerity.
Yeah, all the regulative principles is a kind of austerity.
Okay.
You're
Thank you,
giving
Guru
up
Maharaj.
what you want to do for what Krishna wants you to do. Huh?
Okay, Guru Maharaj. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So you should understand that what Krishna wants to do, what Krishna wants you to do is beneficial. It's not in any other category, but
Maharaj, there is a question that came to me, and this devotee's question is: my understanding about austerity is detaching oneself from material stuff, connect more with Krishna. Like during fasting, we lower bodily needs and do more service to Krishna. Is this correct?
yeah, that's one kind of austerity.
One kind of austerity.
Yeah, it's not a general definition of austerity. It's just one kind of austerity.
And how many kinds of austerities are there, Maharaj? Just curious.
Well, there's 3 categories: austerities of the body, austerities of the mind, austerities of speech. Krishna speaks about that in the 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So each of those 3 categories have a series of smaller subcategories connected with that. Austerities of the body, there are about 5. Austerities of the mind are about 3. Austerity of the speech is about 3 or 4. Yeah.
I'm letting this devotee know your answer, March. He's in the office, so I'm trying to give him the answer from you, March. Thank you. March, and you mentioned Bhagavad Gita chapter 7. Is that a verse that you mentioned, March?
Chapter 17.
17?
And start with verse number 13, I think. 13, 14, and 15. And 16, I think. The austerities of the mind, austerities of the body, austerities of speech.
Thank you, March. I just sent him your respond. Any other questions from devotees? Any other thoughts? Any other clarification? Please do raise your hand. I'm trying to see if I think I heard someone's voice. I don't know whose voice that I'm trying to see that I don't miss anyone. If there are, Sri Devi is thinking so deep. I'm thinking if she's thinking of a question or she wants to. I like to pick on you, Mataji.
I'm just listening. I'm so sorry. I got in very late, so I missed the class. I'm fortunate to at least hear the question and answer, so I'm just listening.
No
Where
problem.
are you? Where are you?
Guru Maharaj, I'm in Udupi.
Oh, okay. Did you start your treatment yet? Okay.
Definitely, I'm experiencing that the heel pain has decreased, the swelling in the legs has decreased. I'm so thankful for that because I was so worried about my health. So definitely it's improving.
That doctor's there. He's my good friend. He's nice to me. I forgot his name. Nitin or something. I forgot his name.
Now there's a lady.
Who's the head doctor there?
Yeah, Shruta.
Oh, they changed.
I don't know which place you're talking about, Maharaj. I'm at Thonse.
Oh, I was thinking of Udupi. Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking of James. I'm sorry.
Oh, Jane. Oh, Jane.
Okay. Good. Well, stick with it.
Yes, Guru Maharaj, I'm experiencing a quick improvement and I'm thankful for that. From tomorrow, I'll try to be regular and join the class at the right time.
Okay. I'm going to mark your report card.
Yes, Shrimati. Please go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, so you were talking about if we do stuff for ourselves, that is sense gratification, and if we, so, but even we think that in devotee community or whatever I do, like going to temple or associating with devotees, I always feel pleasure and looking forward for nice prasadam and nice time, having nice time. So looking forward to that type of company. So is it also comes under sense gratification or like?
No, it's that these are activities of devotional service. Associating with devotees, that's one of the regular friendship, one of the main regular. But if you're trying to enjoy, rather than trying to call with the idea to serve, that's one thing. So Krishna consciousness is enjoyable. Prabhupada said, yes, it's enjoyable. If you're enjoying your activities of devotional service, that's in line with Krishna consciousness. If it wasn't enjoyable, who would want to do it? But it's in line with what is beneficial, what is necessary. But then if you think, well, I'll only go to the temple if my friend comes so I can talk to her, then that's not right.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Yeah, in one lecture, I heard that one Prabhu was saying that are you enjoying in Krishna consciousness or are you serving in Krishna consciousness? So, so I was thinking since then. So, are we really in the serving mood, or I am in the really in the serving mood, or I am trying to enjoy whenever I go to temple without doing any service?
Yeah, well, that statement is correct. If you're in the serving mood, you will enjoy. So it matters.
Yeah.
For the enjoying mood, you may or may not enjoy.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Yeah.
Krishna is not, he's not meant for our enjoyment. We're meant to be enjoyed by Krishna. But when we engage in devotional service, we connect with the internal energy, which is the Radhini Shakti, which is the pleasure energy of the Lord. And therefore, we experience happiness. So be in the mood of service, and automatically it'll become enjoyable.
Mm. Yes, Guru Maharaj. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. And I have one more question, Guru Maharaj. So I see that Arjuna is always becoming an instrument in Krishna's hand. So we are. I should also be in that mood, like becoming an instrument in our in Guru Maharaj's hand or Krishna's hand.
Yeah.
So can you please guide me, Guru Maharaj?
Yeah. We can, we carry out our duties, we follow our, if you become Krishna conscious, that's the greatest service you can do for the spiritual master. When Prabhupada was asked, this was in 1975 when he was in Atlanta, Georgia, and there was many book distributors that come from all over the country to be with Prabhupada. And one book distributor asked Prabhupada, obviously he thought he was going to get a particular answer. He asked, Prabhupada, what pleases you the most? And we also always hear that Prabhupada said, distribute my books that pleases me the most. So he asked that question, what pleases you the most? And Prabhupada answered, he said, what pleases the spiritual master the most is that if you love Krishna. So when the spiritual master sees the devotee is making advancement towards loving Krishna, then that is very pleasing to the spiritual master.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much.
That's the most pleasing because that's the service of the spiritual master to help the disciple to come to the stage of loving Krishna.
Mm.
And whatever else you do is also new.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I really like that question, Srimati. Enjoying Krishna consciousness and serving. Powerful point. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's making me think now. So thank you.
Yes, Mataji, that Prabhu said, sorry, Guru Maharaj, you can.
Makes us all think, what is our motivation behind the activity we perform?
Yeah.
If we're willing to serve under any condition, that is the mood that the devotee should accept, not pick and choose. Well, I like this service, I don't like this service. Whatever is required, the devotee should be eager.
Really powerful, March. I'm sure I know for me, it's making me think. It's so powerful. Thank you for sharing that, Srimati. Thank you so much. And want to thank, actually, devotees, any other questions before we end? Oh, Sri Devi, I was psychic. See, I knew it.
Encouraged by you, Anasuya. Please accept
No,
my
no, no.
obeisances. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to all the devotees. Guru Maharaj, based on the questions itself, I would like to ask this question. Sometimes we are, in a sort of a rut or a groove, or we are just coasting along and we are doing our, usual stuff, routine stuff. But how do we know that we are really making advancement in Krishna consciousness? Like, I'm chanting my 16 round, I'm doing my regulative principle maintenance, I'm doing a little service, but how do I know that that is really helping me to advance and I'm not stuck in a groove where I'm just turning the wheels but not getting anywhere?
Well, if you're enthusiastic, that is Lord Rupa Goswami's first principle, utsahan, remain enthusiastic. That will bring about, advancement in devotional. Enthusiasm means that you should always be thinking how to serve. Yeah, just remain enthusiastic. Be eager for service. Be enthusiastic for service. Look how to improve your service. These are all indications of you're making nice advances.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. My humble obeisances to you.
Don't waste. We were always told, no, we should be every minute we should be thinking, what can I do now? And if you can't figure out any service to do, this Hare Krishna or read some books. There's always some way you can keep yourself occupied in spiritual life.
Nice question, Sri Devi Mataji. Thank you so much. Very nice.
Thank you, Anasuya.
Any other questions from devotees? Any other reflection, any clarification? Please do raise your hand and I will call upon you. I'm just going down the list so I don't miss anyone. If there isn't any questions, Maharaj, would you like to close with a one round?
Mataji, you went on mute. We can't hear you, Mataji.
Oops, sorry. Thank you. Okay, Maharaj said chanting. Okay. I missed what he said. I was trying to figure out. Thank you, Srimati.
Okay. So it's going to be hard for me to hold the microphone chant at the same time. So let me know if you can hear me.
Yes, Maharaj. Right now, Maharaj, we can hear you.
Okay, this is a brand new microphone. Let's see. Good word. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasi Vigor Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Rama Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. And the seven Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama. Jai Shri Krishna, take on your Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. And thank you
Hare
to all,
Krishna.
and thank you to all the devotees for joining us. Vanchakapatibhyascha, Kripasindobevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Srila
Hare
Prabhupada
Krishna.
ki,
God ki jai.
Jai.
Chandramali Swami ki.
Jai.
Jai.
Chandramani Swami ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, and all the devotees, I just wanted to tell everyone that tomorrow is actually Guru Maharaj's appearance day in this world to save us.
Hari Bol,
Hare
tomorrow, September 9th.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for letting me sharing that, Sridevi. I really, really am thankful to you for sharing that. Thank you so much.
Doesn't know what she's talking about.
She's sharing the mercy with us, Mar. So we're all very grateful. She's sharing the mercy with us. Thank you.
Mars, the PP there.
We're all greedy for your mercy,
Happy
Mar. So that's why we are
appearance.
selfishly sharing the mercy.
When you ask one man, he asked him, do you have any money? He goes into his pocket, he pulls out the inside of his pocket. I'm pulling out the inside of my Dodi pocket.
Guru Maharaj, you're an ocean of mercy. You don't need pockets.
I like that.
It's just the kinds of mercy. Ravana was very kind also. So was Saranitaki.
Please, Mara, shower us with your mercy and your blessing so that we can continue to please our spiritual master and Sri Prabhupada and Krishna.
Yeah, just stay fixed on chanting the holy names and work together as devotees. Cooperation with other devotees and pushing on Krishna consciousness is very pleasing to the spiritual master and the Lord.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much. We are so
Thank you.
fortunate that we can get to hear your class once every 2 weeks. So blessed and fortunate. I am. I know that. Thank you. And thank you, Sri Devi, for sharing Chandramali Swami's Tithi birthday. Vyasa Puja tomorrow. Thank you so much.
It's Srila Haridas Thakur's appearance day. Every year, it's
Yes.
on that day.
Yes.
Yes.
Good to know.
Right. Thank you.
Good to know. I'll mark it in my calendar from now on.
It's marked on the Vaishnav calendar. If you go to the Vaishnav calendar, It says over there, His Holiness Chandramauli Maharaj Appearance Day.
Okay, good. Maharaj, the secret is out, Maharaj.
I think they gave her too much medicine and treatment.
But Maharaj, it's to our benefit, Maharaj.
Yeah, they gave her
The
overdose.
medicine is spilled over a little bit. Mm.
She's not feeling so well. Just, bestow your mercy on Sri Devi. She needs it.
Jai Shri Prabhupada, jai.
Oh, Krishna, thank you so much. I love these sessions, especially with Chandramani Swami, because we get to be human again with Maharaj.
Really, you're fortunate when you're teased by a spiritual master. But dear Maharaj teased us a lot.
I'm willing to get every scrap of mercy, every crumb of mercy that is thrown at me. I'm just a poor dog. So please bless me as Guru Maharaj has requested you all, please.
Yeah, I got my shoes here. I'm ready to use them.
I offer my head, Guru Maharaj, please beat me with your shoes. Some sense might get in.
Yeah, what's coming up?
Hare Krishna.
All right.
Thank you,
So,
Maharaj. Thank you so much. All good to Shri Prabhupada.
Thank you, Anasuya. I really find it very edifying when you do the hosting. I wish you could do all of our hosting every day on my regular conference.
Uh-oh. Maharaj, what time are your classes? Is it?
Same time right now.
Oh, Krishna. Oh, same time. It's a clash with our Bhagavatam class. Maharaj, I will try. I will, if it's definitely not clashing with our temple, if I, class, if I can be of any service, Maharaj, let me know.
Yeah, just talk to Srimati. She's enlisting all of the qualified Zoom hosts.
Okay.
Yeah, I really find that you know how to do this service really nice. Really.
Maharaj, is only by your mercy. It's by the mercy of the gurus. Seriously, Maharaj, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder how devotees can put up with my crap.
How come my mercy only comes out when you are around?
Maharaj, it's your potency, Maharaj. It's your potency, Maharaj. That is why I keep begging for your mercy all the time, Maharaj.
No, it's just obvious. You're like a Keturah bird in her way.